What is up, everybody? Welcome to the All Punked Up Podcast. I'm Tyler Winters. John Pierman is here. And John, we're back after a little break. We released a couple bonus episodes that we had in the can. We had to take a break, really. One, because of the holiday. I was debating on whether or not to take a break anyway. But then we had some storms whip through the area. And you lost power for a very long time.
That's right.
We actually had, John, a tornado come through Chatham, where
Correct.
I live, and we didn't lose power at all. Our lights flickered, but that was about it. So how long were you out of power for?
4 days.
Oh, okay. I was going to say 4 or 5 days.
No, just right at almost 5 days, really.
I mean, dang, dude. So you lost all your food, which is probably the biggest.
Yeah, we didn't really have that much food in the fridge, so we lucked out that way.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, I just think of like the families that have, big
like
deep freezers.
Yeah, those only last like a day or two, I think. So
yeah, we were poor growing up, so we definitely used our deep freezer. Had a lot of meats.
Oh, I remember it was in the
foods
basement.
in there. Yeah. And
some pizzas down there, I think.
Pizzas were down there. Get the tombstones out. Man.
Thaw that out so John can drop it on the floor.
That's right. That is right. Yeah. So for those listening, John's, I'd say you're accident prone, or at least you were when you were a kid.
I was oafish as a child. Yes.
Okay. So my mom, she'd always, like, when John would come over when we were kids, spend the night or whatever, we're hanging out. Like, my mom knows that John is accident prone. So anytime we'd eat, she'd put down a blanket in the living room so we could watch TV or watch a movie that we had rented or something like that. And she puts this blanket down and we have pizza. And John somehow is sitting on the blanket and the pizza falls off of his plate and manages to fall upside down right at the edge of the blanket, not even really touching the blanket, but just directly on top of the carpet.
Yeah, I feel like the crust landed on the blanket.
It might have, yeah. So
the way I remember it, I panicked and tried to catch it and then knocked it onto the carpet. Probably.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it started moving on your plate. So then you got scared and yeah.
Overcorrect.
My mom still tells that story till this day.
She's told it to me many times.
Yep. And she'll continue to do so. Probably the next time you see her, she'll be like, "Hey, John, do you remember?"
Yes, I do.
Oh, man. Good times.
I always tell when we did the Living Rosary.
Oh, God.
And I was next to a girl I had a crush on, and you guys messed with me, and then I knocked her candle out.
Yeah,
my hands were shaking.
Yeah. What were you trying to do? You were trying to light her candle with yours.
Yeah.
And you blew out the candles, basically. Or you smothered the candle, is what happened. And then the flame went out. The flame went out.
She lightly grabbed my hand to settle it.
It's okay. That's not what happened.
Sparks flew.
Yeah. Good times. All right. So we are back this week. And you know what? It kind of was a good week, I think, to take off. Because news has been kind of slow, which I think it is usually around the holidays. And it's actually kind of slow this week. But
yeah, unless somebody famous blows like a hand off with a firework, you're not really going to get any news.
Yeah, exactly. And that didn't happen, but I was able to muster up some things that we could talk about. We could talk about some things that happened for weeks previous because one, Taylor Swift came out with an album and Fall Out Boy and Hayley Williams are on that album. And so it's worth talking about those songs. A couple weeks ago, Fall Out Boy released a cover of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire."
Yeah,
it's definitely worth talking about. And then Mod Sun had he released a new song that actually addresses the Avril Lavigne breakup. So we could talk about that. We can do that for reviews. And then also, John, I think on our last episode we actually talked about
that bitch getting hit in the face with a phone.
Yeah, BB Rexa getting hit in the face. Well, it seems like there's somewhat of like an epidemic maybe going on because there's a lot of artists getting shit thrown at them. So we'll talk about that briefly, but also the main thing I want to talk about, and you listeners, if having sex at festivals is your jam, then I recommend you stick around because we're going to be revealing what percentage of people actually do the deed at festivals. And if you are interested, we're probably going to give you some advice on how to succeed in that. So stick around.
I'm scared to tell you where my mind went when you said if it's your jam. Like it's literally somebody making a sandwich and then they have sex to make jam for a sandwich.
Hey, to each their own. But I'm going to say, before we get started, we have to mention that for those of you who may be interested in supporting this show, I don't know why you would after this opener, but for as little as $3 a month, for as little as $3 a month, which is less than the cost of your morning coffee, you can help us continue creating great scene-related content without the need for us to rely on ads that can distract you from your listening experience. By supporting us, not only would you be expressing your appreciation for us, but you're also letting us know that we're doing something right. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in doing, please click the support the show link in the show notes. We would be forever grateful if you did that. And if you're unable to contribute financially, we totally get it. Times are tough. Inflation's a thing.
It's all right. It's no big deal. My lights were off for a week. We don't, we don't need any help.
But simply leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and or on Spotify is greatly appreciated because that can still show your support. And those 5-star reviews really do go a long way. And it helps people like you who may be looking for an alternative scene podcast like us. It lets them know that we are the podcast to be listening to. So your reviews go a long way. So if you could, that would be awesome. Leave us a 5-star review. So John, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get to the show.
That cat keeps getting closer, man.
Yeah, I keep watching him. Now he's licking his crotch.
Good.
He's laying down. He's
making some jam.
So John, I do want to bring up something real quick. I think the vegans are mad at us. Remember
us specifically?
Yeah, us specifically. Because remember when I sent you that text? I sent you a text. I'm going to go to it. I'm in my phone right now.
What did we do?
Well, I don't know. So a couple weeks ago,
it's not like them to just get upset.
Fall Out Boy releases their cover of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." So I post that. So I posted that on All Punked Up, and then I shared it on Twitter. And then randomly, this account that goes by, I can't read it, but it's Try Vegan Please.
Oh, I remember now.
They comment on the tweet and say, #Try Vegan Please. I said, nah, I'm good, thanks. I mean, I was, whatever. And then they respond back with, so punk of you. And then they share a picture of a man shoving his arm through a cow's butt. And it said, the man's quoted as saying, vegans are weird. It's completely normal to fist a cow's anus. So, I mean, they just kind of came at me because I said, nah, I'm good. I don't want to go vegan. And I just kind of left it at that because I didn't know what to do. I was trying to come up with something witty, but I was like, what do you do with that?
That's how you get the chocolate milk.
Exactly. And we love chocolate milk. So, I mean, if you have to fist a cow's anus for chocolate milk, I mean, we're going to continue doing that because everybody loves chocolate milk.
You're damn right.
I don't know. So if there's any vegans out there, I'm sorry if that makes you mad that I'm not vegan. I just feel like being vegan would be very tough and expensive, and I'm just not ready for that.
I think I could do it for a little while.
I probably could do it for a little bit, but I know I would fail at continuing that diet, so I'm not even going to try.
Yeah, I'm going to try. I like eggs and stuff, though.
Yeah, I actually just went out and bought eggs today.
See?
So, and also, I think I had a shake that had some dairy in it. So, it is what it is.
Good luck, bowels.
I did want to share that, though. All right, so it was relevant to share because it came from a post about Fall Out Boy's new cover of Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." And I really want to talk about this. So,
did they talk about fisting cows in the song? There's a lot of lyrics in the song. I don't think it was in there.
No, it wasn't. I don't believe so. I think that one, there was, and then they said, we should probably cut this. But yeah, I think it was in a hidden verse or something like that.
Okay.
But I want to bring this one up. I want to talk about this one because I really like this one. It's not an ordinary cover. It's not word for word Billy Joel's version. The band, John is moving the camera towards the cat that is staring directly at the camera. Dear God. Anyways, the cover that they chose to do, they were going to update the lyrics, and they updated the references from 1989 all the way up to 2023. So, John, I love this version. What did you think?
Okay. I heard a lot of other people's opinions about it before I actually listened to it.
Yeah.
Which were pretty negative.
Really? I hadn't seen anybody.
So I wasn't going in expecting to like it, and it was okay. I always liked that song as a kid.
Me too.
So I thought it was cool.
I think they did it justice for sure. It's rocked up a bit more. I mean, that song is already a kind of a rocking song on its own, but Fall Out Boy brings in the guitars and
a lot of Chicago reference too, which is cool. Growing up as a kid in the '90s, the Bulls were like everything.
Yeah, and I think Michael Jordan gets a Michael Jordan 23 and a Michael Jordan 45 reference in there, so he comes up twice. The Cubs are in there. Not a Cubs fan at all, but they have to. They're from the Chicago area, so they have to talk about the Cubs winning the World Series after a 108-year drought or whatever it was. But it's really cool. I mean, there was Woodstock reference, Tom DeLonge and Aliens, all the wars, all of the shit today. It was all referenced, and it wasn't cheesy. It was done really well.
Yeah, I feel like they put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah,
what to include. So.
Yeah, they really took the song and they made it their own. So I really commend them for this. I think it was a great idea. I was really impressed with it. My only gripe, if I have to have a gripe, is I don't think there's any reference to the pandemic at all. And I feel like you have to add that in there. And I think Pete Wentz was interviewed maybe asked about that. And he said that he felt like some things that they were trying to add were a little too on the nose, which I think the pandemic is one that you would make an exception for. But then he said at the end of the day, you have to have a rhyme, which totally makes sense from a songwriting perspective. So I get it. But man, I loved it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't get chills while listening to it either. I don't know why I got chills, but maybe it's just because of all the references and it's kind of nostalgic in a way. I loved it.
It definitely makes you feel old, but
it does.
I did not get chills, but.
Yeah, I don't know why. I got chills at one point in the song. I'm not sure what point it was, but I'm thinking it was just because of all of the older references. Like you said, the things that we grew up liking and paying attention to.
No wrestling references either, I don't think.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to go back through it. There's like 4 or 5 verses, so it's a long one. Yeah, definitely recommend it.
No viral video references, really.
Nope. And maybe it would be hard to recreate this song with the updated references, but I think overall they nailed it.
I mean, they could probably do it 2 or 3 times with everything that's happened in that time period.
Probably. So speaking of Fall Out Boy, though, John, Taylor Swift released her re-recorded Speak Now album, and it contains a couple of extra tracks that were left off of the album originally. One of those songs is called Electric Touch, and it features Fall Out Boy. Thoughts on this one? What'd you think?
I thought it was a really catchy song.
Me too.
I could see it becoming a radio hit, really. It was so catchy, and it's impressive that that's something that was left off. That was my first thought, too. After hearing it a first time, I was like, why would they leave this off? I'd have to listen to a few more songs on the album, but I know there's one, I can't pinpoint it, that I would replace with this one. I mean, if it had to be, 12 songs or whatever it was. But yeah, I thought the exact same thing. Like this is one that you make room for on the album. I know Fall Out Boy wouldn't have been on the original, but it's... Yeah, I think my understanding is that all of the featured acts, she's doing that with, the bonus tracks, not the actual album tracks. Like those are...
Right, yes, absolutely.
From the vault kind of songs.
Yes. As
they're called, I think. So.
Yes, definitely good to note that. But yeah, I thought that the song was really good. Surprised it was left off of the album from the get-go. It's got some crunchy guitars in there, and it still has some country elements as well. But I do think the added voice of Patrick Stump really adds a lot to this song. And I don't know, like just the way the song was produced, it sort of made me feel something, and I don't know what that was. I don't know. It kind of reminded me of a nostalgic feeling, but it wasn't nostalgic. So it was just the way it was produced. Like, I don't know, just it's really hard to pinpoint, but it really, the song made me feel something. So that's why I think I resonate with it as much as I do, and why I like it as much as I do. So definitely recommend taking a listen to this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give Taylor Swift more money. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, right. What did you say she's making?
$9 million a show.
Yeah, so her Eras tour is raking in $9 million per show. Mm-hmm. She's doing all right. And another song that was on this album was one that features Paramore's Hayley Williams. It's called Castles Crumbling. Now, this one, unlike the one featuring Fall Out Boy, this one doesn't really do it for me. And I can see why it was left on the cutting room floor, the first time through. So I don't know. I don't really have much to say about this one, but what did you think?
I would agree. It sounded like an unfinished kind of song.
Yeah.
Not like production wise, it was fine, but it just had that unfinished quality to it.
Yeah. There was no wow factor in there. Yeah. It was just like there. And usually you can hear songs and they're not hits, but they're a good album song. This one, I wouldn't even say is a good album song. It's good because Hayley Williams is on it, but she's not even really prominent on the track. I don't think she has like her own verse or anything like Patrick Stump did on his. I think she's just more background vocals. So, I mean, this song was very underwhelming for me.
Yeah, I would have rather they just did like a whole Paramore track instead of just a Hayley Williams. Let the band in on it. Too.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that would be cool. Like bring in some actual guitars, like heavy guitar sounds and whatnot. I agree.
Let's get a Travis Barker comp. Yeah.
Come on, Taylor. Let's do this.
Travis Taylor.
It was announced, too, and I think it's worth noting that Paramore will be joining Taylor Swift's Eras Tour for the UK and European legs. So I would assume, based on that this song, Castles Crumbling, will probably be performed at those shows. I mean, It's a given, right?
Yeah, I think she tends... If the artist is present, she'll tend to do this,
Right.
I think she did that with Phoebe a couple of times.
Yeah, you come through their town, they're going to come up and, yeah, they're going to join you. It's a nice little surprise. And if for anybody interested in the UK and European legs, that portion of the tour will actually start in May of 2024. So we have some time. So get your tickets if you can. I don't know if those are available yet or not. All right, so finally, John, we mentioned it a few weeks ago that he'd be releasing a new track, and Mod Sun did release that new track this week. The new song is called Strangers, and this song, John, definitely seems to be all about his breakup with Avril Lavigne. So
it's quite personal.
Yeah, and I really liked this song. I like his honesty in this song. It sheds a little light on what happened, at least from his side of things. The main takeaway from this song is that him and Avril started out as strangers, which is the name of the song. They turned into lovers and then turned back into strangers again. Mm-hmm. I think that is a really good concept for a song. And you get that understanding with the lyrics. He says, I remember loving you before we ever met, saw you on the TV, and I met you through a friend. Then I started talking to you on the internet, went from strangers to lovers to strangers again. Like, he's being true here. Like, this isn't just some made up story. So these are the things I like. But one of my favorite lines of the song is this. He says, just a couple weeks and I'm already moving in. So they're dating for a few weeks, they move in. And then he goes on to say, lying to each other while we're lying in your bed. Not sure what that means, but there's some deviation going on. Goes on, guess it really did go up in flames in the end. I love that because that Flames reference is in regard to their 2020 collab called Flames. So he brings that in there. I think that's kind of, I don't know if lyrical genius is the right term here, but it's just such a good idea. And it was well thought out to put that in there. So I really like that. It makes me like the song even more. Just
the old callback.
Yeah, the old callback. And that's a far away callback. And I like this one because it seems a bit vulnerable. The track is completely vulnerable. It's catchy enough. It's not really pop punk.
No.
It has more pop elements than anything, but it's still true to what Mod Sun has been releasing. So if you're a Mod Sun fan, you're definitely going to like the track. John, I'm going to guess this isn't your cup of tea, but what did you think of this one?
No, I mean, I was impressed that it was such a personal topic, and it seemed to be written in a very raw way. So
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. I wouldn't be consider myself a Mod Sun fan. So
Okay.
But beyond that, I was impressed with the honest and rawness of it.
Yeah, and that's why I think I like Mod Sun a lot. He really does wear his heart on his sleeve, and he's vulnerable in all of his songs, it seems like. He speaks a lot of his truth. And I think as a listener and as a fan, that's what you ask for, You want to hear that stuff. That's how you get to know the artists that you like listening to. So, I don't know. I think it was good, and he hasn't really spoken about the breakup that happened in February right after we interviewed him. So this is the first we're hearing of it. So he stayed quiet. He just wrote a song and he's moving on. So I like it. I like his take.
Like to hear it? Here it goes.
Yeah, exactly. All right, John. So that's it for reviews. And let's move into a little bit of news here. So I think it's worth mentioning because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. And as I said at the top of the show, I think there's an epidemic of artists being assaulted on stage via objects being thrown at them while performing. We talked about BB Rexa, of course, getting pelted with a phone in the eye. She was left with a bruise or a black eye. Ava Max is a pop singer. She was sort of slapped in the face while performing. Now Drake has had a phone thrown at him, which missed, by the way. I don't understand what's the deal with these phones being thrown.
Phones aren't cheap,
No, I know.
Unless it's like a burner.
Yeah, I
Like
guess.
you're just firing a burner at his head, and that's
Do you
fine.
think people are bringing like old phones that they don't use anymore that are
Sure.
maybe they're just bricked?
Yeah,
and-
sign my phone.
Yeah, sign my phone that I'm not going to use.
If they start throwing Motorola razors, look out.
Those are real old.
Sliced.
Didn't those come back? I feel like those came back. I don't know.
Like recently?
Yeah, I think it was like they had a comeback.
I don't
know.
think so.
I'm
Maybe
gonna look that up.
Sidekick.
I'm pretty sure it
The
was
old
a Motorola
Motorola
Razor.
Sidekick.
Those
Hold down
razors
keyboard.
Those razors were sweet though.
I never had one. Stuck with my old flippy phone.
So the one that's most surprising, though, John, that happened, and although it wasn't thrown at her, this thing wasn't thrown at her, nor was she assaulted. It's just weird. Someone brought their mother's remains to a Pink concert and somehow got them on stage.
Yeah.
Pink picks them up, confused as hell, and has no idea what to do with them. Did you see it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Let me just go ahead and play it in case we want to share this on TikTok or whatever.
You
Because
pick a different artist to throw your mother's ashes at, they might just like snort them.
that's true. Okay. Can you see that? Can you see it?
Yep,
right.
I'm with you.
All right. So there was a tweet from As Andrew Speaks on Twitter. He says, someone gave their mother's ashes to Pink. I need y'all to have boundaries. Like, girl, what?
Oh, I need you to have apostrophes.
That too. But watch this. This is crazy.
This is your mom. I don't know how to feel about this. I can't say your life before. You show me to the switch. I can't say your mom.
Yeah. So she asks, is this your mom? I don't know what to do with this.
That's a hell of a guess.
She was definitely caught off guard.
I would have just booted it. Just drop kicked it.
Just opened it up and then threw it out. Just cover everybody. That's weird, dude. Like, I just don't know what's wrong with people. And like, is that person going to get her mother's ashes back? And like, I don't know.
I would have given somebody the old Mr. Fuji in the eyes.
Just,
Like when they used to salt him.
yeah. I don't know. I really feel like right now people have kind of forgotten how to act at concerts. Like this is just a weird thing. But when it comes to like throwing stuff, at artists. Man, I don't know what the hell's happening right now. I don't
Crazy
know.
out there.
It is crazy.
Have you ever seen the performance where it's like a VMA performance? I think it's Bobby Brown.
I don't think I've seen that. I don't.
Back in there. He's doing the Ghostbusters 2 song before it was the Ghostbusters song, I think.
Okay.
And he's dancing, and a bag of Coke just flies out of his pants, and he has to go retrieve it off the stage.
He's performing on stage with a bag of Coke in his pants.
And
Wow.
I said Bobby Brown, right? Not MC
Yeah.
Hammer. Okay.
Yeah, you said Bobby Brown.
So it was Bobby Brown.
Wow. No, I'm going to have to look that up on YouTube right after this. All right, John.
It's a banger of a song, though.
John, there is a study that came out that reveals the percentage of people who've had sex at festivals. This is our type of topic. This is what we like to talk about on this podcast.
Any weird festival stuff.
Any weird festival stuff. So here's this. Loudwire writes, a new study by Love Honey has revealed the percentage of people who've had sex at music festivals, and it's probably more than you think. It goes on to say, Love Honey is a sexual wellness brand that surveyed over 2,100 adults, individuals over the age of 18, who have had sex to find out just how many people have done it at music festivals. So, John, do you want to take a guess at the percentage of adults who have engaged in sex at music festivals? This is just the percentage of adults.
You have to factor in some festivals are overnight deals. People have housing. You know, you're having fun.
Yeah, some festivals go on for a couple days.
Yeah, so there's time.
Yep.
I'm going to say 43%.
Wow, that was a good guess. 39% of adults. That's a really good guess. I'm surprised it's this high. Like, that's crazy. Can you guess if I've had sex at a festival or not? Now, what about men? How many men surveyed do you think had sex at concerts, percentage-wise?
Did they ask
Not
me even
at festivals? Sorry.
53%.
Dude, you're really good. Nearly half at 47%. That's good. And what about the female side?
38%.
30%.
Damn it.
30% of female participants have done the deed at a festival. So that's crazy. A lot of people getting it on, but the study.
Well, those ladies are doing the Lord's work to meet up to that larger percentage of men, so they're doubling down.
Yep, they have to be.
Yeah, that's the only way the math works.
Yeah. I love the way your head works.
One in each hand.
Yep.
And whole.
Yeah. I mean, that has to be how it's done, right? I mean, how they came up with these numbers. Yep. All right. Thank you, ladies.
Who says it's just men and women doing it?
That's true,
There's
too.
other options.
There are tons of other options.
Maybe the boys got paired up.
The boys got paired up. Maybe the dogs and cats got paired up at some point, too, with a female. Or you just never know. These festivals are weird.
What kind of festival?
I don't know. I don't go to festivals.
I know they have those ICP things, you know.
You think the Insane Clown Posse...
Yeah, meeting of the Juggalos.
Okay. I don't know. We might want to be a little quiet on that. I don't know if I trust that.
Come at us, Juggalos.
I don't know if I trust that demographic.
Bring it.
Okay. Yeah, bring it. What you got?
Besides a minimum wage job.
Yeah, leave your sexed up animals at home, though. We don't want
and your
that.
face paint.
Yeah.
And
Anyways,
your grocery
John.
brand soda.
Grocery brand soda.
Yeah. Shasta's.
Pepsu.
They love Faygo.
Is that right?
Yeah, Juggalos love Faygo. It's a fact.
I did not know that.
Oh, well known.
Well, I'm going to write that down right now.
You have to know your enemy.
Didn't Green Day tell us that? I think so.
I think it's a Rage Against the Machine song, too.
Oh, all right. Well, either way, John, the study does not stop there. We now know which zodiac sign is most likely and willing to get down at concerts.
Sagittarius.
Nope. Take another guess. You only get one more.
Pisces.
No, it's Taurus.
Oh.
So those are people born between April 20th and May 20th. The study says, known to be one of the most sensual star signs, it's perhaps no surprise that Taurians are the most likely to give in to their physical urges after they've been bopping along to their favorite artists. Almost half, 46% of Taurians have admitted to having had sex at a festival, while Virgos follow closely behind with 44%. Given that Virgos are sometimes seen as one of the more tightly wound signs, maybe festivals are the perfect place for them to let their hair down a little and unwind. So, I don't know. Do you know any Virgos or Tauruses?
I don't know what are the dates for Virgo.
Oh, I don't know. I have to look that up. When's Beth's birthday?
We're both Leo.
Oh. Virgos is August 23rd to about September 22nd. My sister's a Virgo. I'll have to ask her. It's going to be a weird conversation, but I'll ask her.
I don't know why you have to feel the need to ask her.
I feel like the listeners want to know now. I said my sister's a Virgo, so now they're like, oh, I wonder if the other sister... I think my sister listens to this podcast, so sis, give me a call. Let me know. A text is fine.
I mean, there's a 50-50 chance that, depending on that, maybe like a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah. I bet she has friends that have probably done it at festivals.
I don't think I've ever even come close at a concert.
No, me neither.
You haven't even never sniffed first base.
Nope.
Oh, that's not necessarily true.
You probably get at least an accidental first base.
Oh, yeah, in the pit. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, accidental.
Sometimes you're moshing and you ended up inside somebody.
It's just, yeah. I mean, you got to watch out. So the study actually has a section here. It says, why do we love festival sex so much? Because I know you were thinking this, John. And it says, when it comes to understanding why festival sex is particularly exciting, Elizabeth Newman, head of user research at Lovehoney, says, festivals are like a big playground for adults. They're all about having fun and give people the chance to escape the stress, duty, and rules of everyday life. Festivals promise freedom and are spaces to let us explore new things and perhaps be a little bit more daring. Whether it be with your partner or someone you've just met, having sex contributes to the spirit of excitement and adventure, John. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, there you go.
It's nothing like rinsing off your genitals in the communal faucets outside of the porta potty.
Yeah, right.
Just in case.
Yep.
Soaping up your bag and then pumping the water with your foot.
To the beat of the music that's being played outside. Yeah, right. Yeah, so also, if you guys are interested, the study even tells us how to have safe festival sex. And I'll just kind of briefly go over those. Bring protection, obviously. Keep clean, so bring baby wipes, hand sanitizer, and tissues for the ladies. Beware of beer goggles, it says. So if you're planning on doing the deed, make sure you drink responsibly so you know you're making the right decision. Yeah, it's probably a good idea. Consent is key. That's another one. We definitely want to push
looking at you, Woodstock
consent.
99.
Yeah, assholes. Also, it says location. It says when it comes to tent size, the bigger, the better, as far as we are concerned. It says no one is going to have a good time in a one-man tent, so the roomier the tent, the more fun there is to be had. Something to keep in mind. So bring your big tents. Size does matter, apparently. It says think through the timing. Imagine for most it'll probably be a pretty quick thing. But while the thought of being caught might add to the excitement, having sex while your mates are just a sheet of fabric away isn't going to lead to the mind-blowing sex you're after. Okay, so just timing as know your surroundings, I guess. Obviously, it says choose a good position. That's a good way to have fun, I guess. I mean, this sounds like normal stuff. And then just enjoy the moment. It also talks about, John, the best sex toys for a festival. Like, who's bringing sex toys to a festival?
I mean, there's probably a tent set up that's selling them, you know?
Really?
Sure. You know, weird tents.
Oh, well, I never would have thought. It says, while we don't recommend whipping out a huge vibrator, unless you simply can't live without it, there are plenty of toys that are small, silent, and festival friendly. Try handcuffs, they say. which I don't know. And then they said beads and butt plugs are both packable and virtually silent. Okay, whatever. All right, so there you guys have it.
You could tie off with your wristband, make a little cock ring out of it.
There you go. I mean, that's just weird. But it's an idea.
Help, man.
It's an idea.
Long night of drinking at a concert. You know,
Yep.
it's not easy.
All right, guys. So there you have it. I mean, that's the percentage of people that are getting down and dirty at festivals. I hope you were as surprised as I was. But that's going to do it for this episode. So
If you ask 4 people randomly, you're likely to,
yeah,
just be like, hey,
your odds sound great.
yeah, just throw it out there.
Yeah. And then report back. Let us know how it went, because we'll want to hear it. You could come on the show and tell us all about it. We're all for that. But thanks, guys, for listening. If you're really digging our show, please consider helping us spread the word, leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. A 5-star review is always greatly appreciated. And with that, thanks again. And remember, spread love. Peace.